this, like, yeah, clearly I'm not supposed to be sharing this, or I don't know what's happening, because we're supposed to have this on Friday, and you guys saw what happened on Friday. And today I just did a good probably 12 minutes. And as I'm there busy talking, wow, 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 poof, screen goes blank. Like, why? Anyway, hello everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I am Lindiwe, Precious Lindo and Tibuchelang. Hey, you see these long names. I am Precious Lindo and Tibuchelang. These disturbances, I'm even forgetting my own name. Welcome back, and our topic for today is life lessons that I got when I was rejected. So, activation through rejection, right? So I'll take you through what happened and how I was actually activated because of the rejection. So generally, most of you will know, for those of you who are following my page, you'll know that I generally tend to post around 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, so-ish, or around 8, 9 in the morning, right? So there was this one Friday, I think it was a Friday. I went on, I did my regular posting, because I like sharing things on Facebook, you know, inspirational posts, because I enjoy writing, so I like sharing snippets of things that I write, or life lessons, or things to help other people discover themselves, just like I am myself also discovering myself, because like I always make an example, discovering yourself is like a pearl inside an onion inside a lettuce. So imagine you are peeling inside a cabbage. Imagine you are peeling all those layers, layer by layer by layer. So anyway, I go on, I do my regular posting, and then I log off. But as you know, with Facebook, most of you have Facebook, so you'll know what happens. You know, randomly during the day or in the morning, even after you've posted, you'll go, you know, check what's on your timeline, check what's happening. It's easy to get updates on Facebook, right? So I went on my Facebook, and Facebook is like, no, you are too young for this. There was some pop-up screen that showed up that said they are still in the process of establishing whether or not I am the age that I am. And if they find that I'm still too young, they will deactivate or continue keeping my account deactivated. Whoa, okay, what's happening here? Initially, I was like, crazy, and I switched, like I just went, like, scrolled away, went on with my merry life. And Facebook is like that boyfriend that you can't live without. So 15 minutes later, there I am checking, and Facebook is still like, no girl, you're still too young. And I'm like, no, but what's happening here? Honestly, like, I'm being rejected. Like, Facebook is being that boyfriend that is rejecting me. I don't know rejection. Like, what is this? And that screen is there. I still didn't take it seriously until later on in the afternoon, when I checked again and my account was still off. And now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, people are probably, because most people tend to get through to me via inbox on Facebook, because very little people would use the email address, right? So Facebook is normally the main source of communication. So it's like, oh my gosh, people are going to look for me and they won't be able to find me, those that don't yet have my number, because my account is deactivated. Now I'm like, okay, let's panic. What's happening? I go to my emails and showcase. Facebook sends me an email from the security department. This is serious. I'm like, Facebook has a security department. They're being serious. Like, they are deactivating my account. Their security department is like I'm like, no, but we have kids that disappear. We have a whole lot of things that are happening to kids, and I'm not seeing the focus on that. And now, as old as I am, guys, I know people say I've got a small voice. Like, oh, when I was like such a kid, you've got such a small voice. Gucci, gucci, goo. And I'm like, no, I'm an adult. Like, I'm an adult. Actually, I think I'm old enough to be able to be a mother to a 13-year-old, because that's like the minimum age, you know. But yes, I'm old enough to be a mother of a 13-year-old, or at least a 12-year-old gay. I'm old enough. Facebook is like, no, we are making sure, we are busy checking. I'm thinking, but surely, like, I'm a coach. Like, people know that I'm a coach. I am a coach. How can I be a coach if I am 12 years old? Yes, you could still be gifted enough to do it. I mean, I've pretty much been handling it all my life. But would I be this active during the day when I'm supposed to be at school? No, Facebook, I'm old enough. Facebook is like, no. Friday evening, I'm like, okay, I've got Instagram. I hardly know what's happening on Instagram. I'll post here and there, but I'm not that clued up on Instagram. Like, okay, option 2, Instagram. I'll start using my Instagram. You know when that boyfriend is like acting funny, like, I don't care, I'm just gonna leave you alone. You know what? Actually, that one is asking for my number. That was me with Facebook. I was like, this rejection, I don't care. So I went through that denial phase of my rejection. Like, I don't care. You can do what you want. I've got Insta. I've got WhatsApp. There's LinkedIn. Deep down, I knew my photos are there. Like, my life is there on Facebook. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening here? So, okay, fine. Then I thought, let me just try and calm down. Oh, then I started sending updates on my WhatsApp, because Facebook, WhatsApp, same WhatsApp group, you know. So I thought, let me ask Facebook to reactivate my account on my WhatsApp. There I am on my WhatsApp statuses. Facebook has rejected me. Facebook, if you can see this, reactivate my account. I went on some petition. Then I thought this is a joke. And then in the evening, I have a Twitter account, but I'm not yet brave enough to be walking the Twitter streets. So I go on Twitter for the laughs. I literally go there to check on what's happening and laugh at the memes, and I don't have a single post on Twitter, right? My Twitter account gets closed down, and I was like, okay, this is serious. Then I decided, you know what? What would you tell another person? Because sometimes as a coach, you actually need to take your words for yourself. I was like, okay, let's switch on the coach mode. Coach, what would you tell? How would you get somebody to deal with this rejection? And I was like, you know what? Go back within, you know? Let's go back within. So I went back within and I asked myself, Precious Lindu and Tibuchelang, who are you without Facebook? Who are you? And I realized, and the immediate answer that came to me was, girl, yes, you're a coach. You help people to discover themselves. You know, you help them to align to their purpose. However, without Facebook, you don't have a website. And you've been wanting to get a website, right? So I tried having a website, I think from last year. And the first person, it didn't work out. Second person, it didn't work out. Third person, it didn't work out. Simply because I had this thing that, oh my gosh, I don't have an IT degree. I know nothing about IT, you know, HTML. I know nothing about that. So I need somebody to do it for me. And I don't need to know how it's done or what's going on. And it didn't work. The requirement was, for me, the website, it wasn't just a website, but it was actually part of me acknowledging myself, me removing the self-limiting beliefs that I had of, A, you need a certificate for you to be good enough. A, you need some sort of a qualification from university, what, for you to be good enough, right? So I went within. That's where the activation happened. So then I was like, okay, let's just make sure. I was like, okay, God, let's make a deal. You fix this Facebook thing. If I'm meant to help your kids to discover themselves through Facebook as one of the channels, God, sort it out. You know, when you are desperate, you're like, God, that boyfriend, I want him. I was like, God, okay, I'm not desperate, but I want my photos at least again. Like, can they give me my photos, not just lock my account, you know? Like, literally, hey, guys, just by the way, if you have a Facebook account, make sure that your names are your real names. Don't use a posh Pfizer on Facebook, because when something happens with the account, they will want your authentication documents. And if your Spicer what name doesn't match your Sfiso Mahlangu name, then your Facebook account will remain locked. So just so you know, ne? Make sure that your details match what is on your ID. for your own peace of mind. Anyway, so I actually went and I did my website. So I went on to literally from scratch, WordPress. Like, I remember, I think it was last year, I had started with my website. It was one of those copy and paste things, and I don't know what happened to it. It disappeared into thin space. Yay, it's gone. I have no idea where it is. So I was activated to get into myself and remove my self-limiting beliefs of Precious, Lindiwe and Tibukalang. You cannot do a website unless you are a professional IT person who studied IT at University of what. You know, you've got a paper document to prove it, you know? Because it's one of those reasons why I actually went and registered with Comensa, where I went through the whole process of registering as a coach and having the right qualifications. I realized then that also came from those self-limiting beliefs that, hey, you're not a good enough coach if you don't have the paper. If you can't show the document and be registered, it means you are not good enough. And me being rejected by Facebook and by Twitter, which has nothing, it was one of the ways of being reactivated. That rejection reactivated me to look into who am I without outside forces, you know? Yes, I love my job. I love working as a coach. I love helping people to discover themselves, who they are. Why did God make them? Why did God bring them onto this earth? What is that purpose that they're supposed to fulfill? I love helping people to walk that path, you know? There's a blog that I posted on my website. I haven't mentioned it throughout, ne? It's www.lindiwecoaching.com. Check it out, guys. I personally did it because I was rejected. That was my activation. I did my website, Lindiwe Coaching, www.lindiwecoaching.com. I'll get used to it. So I went within and I realized there's a lot of, you know, sometimes it's easier when you've got a coach walking the journey with you. And I realized that because I'm a coach, but I also have coaches coaching me, right? So at some point, it got to a point where I was relying too much on outside coaches, you know, getting me to be a good enough coach. And without Facebook, without WhatsApp, without Instagram, without anything else, who am I as an individual? Who am I as a coach? How do I still continue fulfilling my purpose to the people that I am here to serve? Because remember when I did the video on demystifying spiritual gifts, I mentioned that we all are here to serve a specific purpose, and because of that we already have a market for that gift through which we need to serve. So if there's no Facebook, if there's no WhatsApp, if there's nothing, who am I as Precious Lindiwe and Tibukalang without those platforms? And I was like, well, I could actually have a website, you know. I could have a website because, for one, with WhatsApp, I cannot write things as lengthy as I'm one of those. I'm struggling to write short posts nowadays. I think I must just write a book, you know. But if I have a website, I've got somewhere where people can still be able to reach me, those who do not have my number, because obviously I am not yet, focus on yet, I am not yet worldwide, you know. So who am I without Facebook? Who am I without Instagram? How do I still fulfill my purpose? How do I still walk my path, you know, and help people to find their path without Facebook? And I realized a website, it's something that I needed to do. It's something that I just had to do, right? Yes, I will definitely write it. I must write the book, ne? Because, hey, the stories that I write, they are normally long. And for comfort, you know, I was comforted because when Facebook was rejecting me, I had people asking me, because, you know, sometimes you post and generally I post and go, you know. It's that thing of, okay, my spirit is telling me to write this, I write it. I have no idea who it is for. I have no, sometimes it's just like, I don't even know why I'm writing this. Like, this is even embarrassing. Like, oh, sometimes this is too deep. But anyway, let's just write it and get it over and done with. God, there, I've written. You said I must write. I don't know which child of yours needs to hear this, but I've written and I write and go. So sometimes WhatsApp will be like, too long. There's this phrase they use, I think it's 700 words, like you can't write more than 700 words, and then you're sitting there like, me, I still have 500 more. Why WhatsApp? So I got rejected by Twitter, who doesn't know me, and that brought me to a real life realization that sometimes you'll be rejected by people who do not even know you. I mean, Twitter closed my account. There was no reason for Twitter to close my account because I don't even post on Twitter. What am I being suspected of? Because my account is literally me going there. I don't even retweet. I don't even like people's tweets. I literally go there to read and laugh and have fun and move out. So Facebook, they suspected that I'm young. I don't know why, but that's what happened. So sometimes you'll get rejected by people that know you. Sometimes you'll be rejected by people that they don't even know you, and you wonder, oh my gosh, why is this person rejecting me? They don't even know me. They haven't even given a chance. Go back within, find that thing that gets activated within you, because sometimes, like with me, my spirit kept telling me, you need to do your own website. You need to do your own website. It's not just about the website, but it's part of a healing journey. It's part of a self-discovery journey. It's part of you understanding what self-limiting beliefs you have, because it's easy to coach other people because it's not you. It's easy to walk the journey with your coach, but this part of the journey requires that you walk it all by yourself. This part of the journey requires that you go deep within yourself. It requires that you keep telling people, hey, be still and go deep within. Well, now it's your turn, So sometimes we tell people and we think it's about those people when it's actually messages that are not just for those people that you are serving, but they are also for you as an individual. So I listened. I went within and I came out with a website, www.lindiacoaching.com. I'm so proud of that website. It wasn't just about a website to allow people to get more information about the work that I do. It wasn't just a website to allow people to still be able to get hold of me regardless of whether or not I've got an account, but it was a healing journey for me. I love writing. Hey, that website forced me to write, and it was writing that had nothing to do with motivating people, that had nothing to do with let's get a message out to people. It was about me. How do I serve? How am I serving? Because also it's easy with Facebook to serve, however, to talk to people, it's easy, but how do I actually serve those people? And with Facebook, I realized I was relying a lot on my feminine energy. There was a let's call it a misbalance between my feminine energy and my masculine energy. And as a person, you need a balance between your masculine energy and your feminine energy so that you are in sync with yourself. I was heavily relying on my on my feminine energy because I was doing more of the emotional work. I was doing more of the feeling work. I wasn't doing the let's get the work done, the systemic work. We need systems in place. We need a structure. That is the masculine energy at play. There was none of that within me other than me having a domain and having an email address. I was focusing largely on the emotional side of things. So there was also a misbalance between my feminine energy and my masculine energy. Facebook rejecting me forced me to actually go back within and realize that, hey, I'm walking lopsided because the feminine energy is heavy. I'm out there, I'm emotional, I'm posting. I'm working on this on the spiritual side and emotions, but the structure is hardly there, in everything, not just with coaching, but I had to review my life, and I realized that the feminine energy is playing a very big role in my life. And the masculine energy is being neglected. Now, how do I walk in sync with myself when I'm walking lopsided, when the one side is walking heavier than the other side? How do I continue finding myself when I'm focusing on the girly feelings, feminine energy side of things, and I'm not looking at the structure? So the website gave me a structure, because with the website then I was directed into what is your focus, how do you do what you do with what you are focusing on? And that there are so many activations that I had, so many life realizations that I had, and I was like, oh wow. So I was like, okay, God, let's make a deal, ne? If if this was just a lesson, because you know me, I think for those of you who are part of the story where I shared how I stepped out of my job and stepped into myself, the story behind the rainbow, for those of you who are part of that, you would know that I tend to ask God for signs. Me, I asked for signs for days. Might as well write a book, ne? And call it stepping out of my job and into myself. I think I'll do that, because I shared the story with people, but people still keep asking me. So yeah, I think I'll write the book. You guys must hold me to it. I'll hold myself accountable to it as well. So I shared that I generally ask for a lot of signs. So I did the same thing. I was like, God, this weekend, please sort this thing out. Let it be sorted out. Then I will know that it's not about me leaving Facebook, but it was about the lessons that I had to learn, and understanding the self-limiting beliefs that I had, and working through those self-limiting beliefs, because I don't have an IT qualification. Hey, the last time I did IT was probably in first year. First year was what, 2006? Yeah. I don't have an IT qualification. I would see, this HTML coding language, I would see it somewhere and I just scroll past. I had no idea what it was. And I had a self-limiting belief that without an IT qualification, I'm not good enough to develop this thing, not realizing it was deeper than that. As I went through my layers, I found other layers, other things. I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I was over this. Woo! This thing still exists. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's work through it. So I was like, okay, God, if you still want me to be able to reach out to your kids and help them. Yes, I know you're adults, but we are God's kids. And help them, and help them to discover themselves, so they can get back to realigning with the reasons why you yourself created them in the first place. Please sort this thing out. And then I promise I will still continue being off Facebook for a week, a whole week. Now that was big for me. Being off Facebook for a week was like a sacrifice and a half. Because it was that thing of being with myself and not being with other people, and not interacting with other people. For a long time I thought I was an introvert, but I'm an ambivert. That also came through. And showcase on Sunday morning, I get an email from Facebook that no, they can't accept the identification that I've provided. I'm like, but Facebook, we don't use green barcoded IDs anymore. Then I got cocky, and I sent through my other types of authentication documents, and within like 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, they send an email. No, we apologize for the inconvenience. Wada. Active account. Boom, there. I was like, okay, God, yes, the account is still active, but I'm going to lie low. I'm going to continue working on this website until this website is done. I'm not going out to the people. And it took more than a week, but I finished it. So I got rejected by Facebook, and I was activated to go back within to look at what self-limiting beliefs do I have, how do I deal with them, deal with those, to stop procrastinating, because that is a real thing, and to actually work on my masculine energy, to get a system in place for the work that I do. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope somewhere, somehow, it helps you. I hope somewhere, somehow, it helps you to look into, whenever you are rejected, is there an idea that you had been having that you haven't paid attention to? Is there an idea that you are having? Is there a thought? Are the things that you are going through that you are not attending to? Because sometimes you get rejected so that it forces you to focus on that thing that you are meant to focus on, that you are avoiding because of maybe self-limiting beliefs, because of what you might say time, which could also be a self-limiting belief, which could be because of procrastination, because of various things. Sometimes we avoid looking at things because it's not nice. Healing. Hey, healing, when you see people posting, oh, I'm on a healing journey, hey, and you're like, oh, this is so beautiful. The results are beautiful, but the process is more often than not beautiful. It's sometimes you'll cry, sometimes you might even get sick, but it's a process that doesn't look pretty to the eyes until you see the results. So when you get rejected, whether you are rejected by somebody that knows you or something, because Facebook is not a person. We treat it like it's a human being, but it's not a person. When you get rejected by people or things that you know and those that you don't know, go back within and look at, where have I not been paying attention in my life? Because sometimes this rejection is giving you an opportunity to open that door that you have been scared to actually go into that room. That room that is full of things, and you are sitting in there and you're like, oh my gosh, where am I going to start with this room? Sometimes rejection is a nudge, taking you to go back into that room that you have been running away from, that door that you have kept closed. Because sometimes the door is closed not because someone else is closing, but sometimes we close our own doors. Like with me, I was closing the door of starting a website simply because of my own self-limiting beliefs. I was the one closing the door. No one was saying, hey, no, you are not good enough, don't do a website, stay in your lane, rest the girl. No one was saying that. I was saying all those things to myself, and coaching would help me, but I would still revert back, because this was something that I had to use the tools that I'd gotten in coaching to apply them. Because that's the thing with coaching, it's something that equips you with the tools that you use further on in your life. It's not a full-time lifelong access with the same thing. You will still have a coach, but different elements of your life. So I had gotten the tools for this, but I had not used them, because sometimes that's what we do. You get coached and then you don't use the tools. This time I got rejected for me to be activated to use the tools that I had received through being coached, through me coaching other people. Because as a coach, the more I find myself, the more I'm able to help others discover themselves, and the more they then in turn help me to discover myself. So hope you guys have a lovely afternoon. Yes, have a lovely afternoon. Thank you for tuning in, and I will post this on my YouTube channel, Precious Lindiwe and Tuwagelang. That's the name of my YouTube channel. And be sure to check out my self-made website, www.lindiwecoaching.com. Love and light. Mwah.